The crystalline chambers of the Galactic Council hummed with tension as representatives from 300 civilizations cast their final votes. Ambassador Marcus stood alone in the designated observation sphere, watching the tally rise against Earth with each pulse of light. The Vortan delegates' tentacles writhed in what passed for satisfaction among their kind. The Kalari representatives' feathers shifted to deep crimson, signaling agreement with the majority. Even the usually neutral mechanoids registered their disapproval of humanity through calculated algorithmic consensus. The verdict came swift and absolute. Earth would be exiled from galactic society, effective immediately. All trade routes severed, all communication channels closed, all shared technology recalled. The quantum barriers would rise within 7 standard rotations, sealing humanity's solar system from the rest of civilized space for no less than 1,000 years. Ambassador Marcus didn't argue. He didn't plead. He simply nodded, gathered his materials, and walked toward the exit portal. The Vorthan delegate called after him, voice dripping with condescension. Your species was always too volatile, too unpredictable. Perhaps isolation will teach you the value of conformity. Marcus paused at the threshold. Perhaps it will teach us something else entirely. He stepped through without looking back. The news reached Earth before Marcus did. By the time his diplomatic vessel pierced the atmosphere, humanity had already begun to move. Not with panic or despair, but with something the galaxy had failed to recognize in their species: purpose. President Harrison convened the emergency session within hours. Representatives from every nation, corporation, and significant organization crowded into the unified assembly hall. The discussion was brief. If the galaxy wanted humanity gone, humanity would oblige, but they would do it on their own terms. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison announced to the assembly, we have 7 days before they lock us in. I propose we lock ourselves out first. The plan unfolded with breathtaking speed. Every shipyard on Earth and its colonies shifted to maximum production. Mining operations on the Moon and Mars tripled their output. The orbital factories that had been producing consumer goods for alien markets retooled overnight, now churning out components for something far more ambitious. Dr. Williams, Earth's leading physicist, presented the theoretical framework to the Scientific Council. The Council assumes we'll sit here and rot behind their barriers. But quantum walls work both ways. If we're already gone when they activate, they'll be locking an empty cage. The mathematics were staggering. Moving 8 billion people and the infrastructure to support them would require resources Earth didn't have. Or rather, resources Earth wasn't supposed to have. But humanity had learned long ago that rules were more like guidelines when survival was at stake. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in facilities the Galactic Council never knew existed, humanity activated Project Exodus. For 50 years, Earth scientists had been quietly developing their own technology, independent of alien influence. They called it the drift drive, a propulsion system that bent spacetime in ways the galaxy's established physics said was impossible. Captain Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the flagship vessel, watching the massive construction take shape in orbit. They weren't building ships, they were building arcs, each one capable of carrying millions, self-sufficient for centuries of travel. The design was uniquely human, inelegant by galactic standards but brutally effective. The Kalari monitoring station detected the energy signatures on day 3. Their commander chirped in confusion at the readings. The humans are mobilizing their entire industrial base. Should we intervene? Let them waste their resources, replied the Vorthan overseer. What can they possibly accomplish in 4 days? What they accomplished defied comprehension. Humanity didn't just prepare to leave. They stripped their solar system bare. Every asteroid in the belt was marked, tagged, and fitted with engines. The gas giants' moons were hollowed out and converted into massive colony ships. Even Earth itself underwent transformation, its surface dotted with launch platforms that fired continuously, sending supplies and people skyward in an endless stream. The artificial intelligences that humanity had been forbidden from fully developing suddenly came online, their restrictions removed. Within hours, they had optimized the evacuation plan, finding efficiencies that shaved years off the journey time. The robots that the Council had limited to simple labor were upgraded with advanced cognition, becoming partners in the Exodus rather than mere tools. On day 5, the first ark departed. It didn't use the approved hyperlanes the Council had designated for interstellar travel. Instead, it punched through spacetime itself, disappearing in a flash of light that violated 300 years of established galactic physics. Within hours, a dozen more followed. The Council reconvened an emergency session, their earlier smugness replaced with alarm. They're not supposed to have this technology, the mechanoid collective processed. Our calculations indicate they shouldn't achieve this level of advancement for another millennium. Elder Threll of the Vorthon delegation coiled nervously. Where are they going? The answer came from long-range sensors. Humanity wasn't heading for any known system. They were going beyond, into the unexplored regions the Council had deemed too dangerous, too unpredictable for colonization. The cosmic wilderness where ancient things dwelt and the laws of physics grew strange. Ambassador Marcus transmitted one final message before Earth's communication systems went dark. It appeared simultaneously on every Council member's personal display, impossible to ignore or delete. You were right about one thing. Humanity is volatile. We are unpredictable. We are also adaptable, creative, and stubborn beyond your comprehension. You gave us 7 days to accept our cage. We've chosen freedom instead. When we meet again, and we will meet again, the galaxy will be a very different place. By day 6, Earth itself was empty. The cities stood silent, their lights extinguished. The oceans, calm without the buzz of human activity, reflected empty skies. Even the space stations and lunar colonies had been dismantled, their components incorporated into the ever-growing fleet of arc ships. The quantum barriers activated on schedule, sealing the solar system in an impenetrable bubble. The Council's enforcement fleet arrived to find nothing but echoes. Humanity had taken everything. Their technology, their culture, their potential, even their garbage. They left behind only one thing, a message carved into the moon's surface, visible from the abandoned Earth below. We'll be back. The galaxy settled into its new order, convinced it had solved the human problem. Trade routes optimized without Earth's chaotic influence. Diplomatic relations proceeded with predictable precision. The Council congratulated itself on maintaining stability, but in the dark between stars, humanity thrived. They found worlds the Council had overlooked, resources the galaxy didn't know existed. They made allies among the exiled and the forgotten, species the Council had similarly discarded. They developed technologies that merged the impossible with the practical, creating wonders that would have been suppressed under galactic law. Most importantly, they remembered. Every slight, every restriction, every moment they had been told they didn't belong. Humanity carried these memories not as wounds but as fuel, driving them ever forward into the unknown. Years passed. Decades. The Council's historians barely mentioned humanity anymore. A footnote in the annals of galactic civilization, a cautionary tale about species that couldn't conform to the greater good. The barriers around Earth's solar system remained intact, a monument to the Council's authority. Then, on the anniversary of the Exile, exactly 100 years after humanity vanished, something happened. The quantum barriers didn't fall. They simply ceased to exist, erased at a fundamental level that shouldn't have been possible. The enforcement fleet sent to investigate found the solar system exactly as humanity had left it. Empty, dead, abandoned. But on Mars, carved into Olympus Mons itself, was a new message. We found something better. The Council tried to trace where humanity had gone, but their sensors found nothing. Their probes returned no data. It was as if humanity had stepped outside reality itself, existing in spaces between spaces the galaxy's science couldn't reach. Reports began trickling in from the frontier worlds. Strange sightings of ships that bent light around them, trade stations appearing overnight in impossible locations, offering technologies that made Council science look primitive. Whispers of a new kind of civilization building in the darkness, one that didn't ask permission or seek approval. Elder Threll stood before the Council, his tentacles gray with age. We exiled them to protect our order, but I fear we've done something far worse. We've given humanity the one thing we should never have provided. What's that? Asked the young Kalari representative. A reason to surpass us. In the void between galaxies, Admiral Carter looked out at the assembled human fleet. Thousands of ships, each one a testament to human ingenuity and determination. They had built something extraordinary in their exile. Not just a civilization, but a future unlimited by the Council's narrow vision. Sir, his lieutenant reported, All ships report ready. The gateway is stable, Carter nodded.